Ladies and gentlemen, I have not forgotten about Grimm Guy, and judging by the comments, neither have you. So today, I am hosting another certified Grimm Guy classic. In case you don't know who Grimm Guy is, he's an incredibly skilled player on Advanced Wars by Web who only plays as Grimm exclusively. And he's been winning a lot of matches. Now he's starting to face off against some absolutely terrifying opponents because now he's moving into the 1300s to 1400s bracket. And one of them is Poland. You may remember this guy. I hosted one of his games a little while back. He made his mark on the map when he defeated Inkugark, the best Advanced Wars player in the world currently. And I hosted that game on my channel as well. It's definitely worth a watch. And, yeah, Poland recently faced off against Grimm Guy on the ladder. And at this point, I'm starting to think, you know, surely Grimm Guy is reaching a ceiling of how far he can go with Grimm. But let me just say, this match, absolutely spectacular. This is going to be very, very fun, very exciting match. Grimm Guy, he always plays great matches. And this one is no different. This is a certified banger, as DJs would say. Now, this map may look very familiar to you guys, because this is actually the exact same match that I played against Grimm Guy on. It's called Missed Connections, and it's even the same matchup. I think in even the same positions, if I'm not completely mistaken. So this is a tier 4 match, and you may think, oh wow, this probably means that Grimm Guy has an advantage since he actually gets to play in his tier. But this is not true, because tier 4 is dominated by Adder, and Adder is the absolute worst matchup for Grimm. He would rather face a tier 3 CO than go up against Adder, because Adder, of course, has the best movement in the game, and Grimm really doesn't like when people get to strike him first. So movement COs are his worst nightmare, and tier 4 is full of movement COs. But, as we all know, Grimm Guy, he doesn't operate within the same rules that most of us other mortal players operate by. He is able to pull off amazing matches against COs that he just shouldn't be able to win against. Now, we still don't know who Grimm Guy is, but we do have narrowed it down to a list of suspects. I'm not going to show them here because the dude wants to be anonymous, and I think we should respect that. Whenever he wants to reveal his name, he will. But I will say that I think we can pretty certainly guess within like a list of 10 players who this guy is. And yeah, maybe he'll reveal himself soon. It'd be fun if someone were able to reveal him, but if he ever gets revealed, I'm not gonna like expose him on the channel because he has asked for privacy. So I think we should give it to him, basically. But I think it's probably one of the more prominent players on the website. Let's just put it that way. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Missed Connections. It's a map that most people hate. Whenever I go up against people on the ladder on this map, I always get some kind of DM from people saying, man, I hate this map. I think one of the reasons why people hate this map is because it's a very difficult map to play on. I have a lot more experience playing on this map now. I think I've played like 4 or 5 games since I casted my last replay. Usually most of the action takes place in the center, but there's also always an ongoing battle for the comm towers. So you kind of have to divert your forces into 3. You have like your main force in the center, and then you always have some skirmishes on the sides, which is my favorite kinds of maps. I always like it when there's multiple engagements. I absolutely hate it when maps are just like giant blob of enemies in the center and like a stalemate wall off. I absolutely hate matches like that. They're so boring. But here you have to constantly send forces over to the side because, of course, if you lose the comm tower, then you're at a very big disadvantage because that's a 20% firepower bonus to your opponent. And comm towers will very often ping-pong back and forth whenever you play matches on Missed Connections, which can really affect the center. Now, the center is a whole different ballpark in terms of how difficult it is to play on it, because, of course, it's so heavily terrain. There's this mountain chain right here. Effectively, there is a wall in the center that separates these two bases. And this wall makes it very hard for anti-air to move around, which is why battlecopters are insane on this map. Now, the airports are quite far out of the way, so it takes a couple turns for the battlecopters to reach the center. And it's also very tempting to send the battlecopters near here because, of course, you have this little pond right here, which is also very difficult for anti-air to catch battlecopters in because you have an anti-air here, the battlecopter can find a safe zone here. You have an anti-air here, the battlecopter can just dart back across the pond again. So very often you end up having to build 2 anti-air to counter a single battlecopter, which means it's usually just a better idea to build battlecopters of your own and try to use your battlecopters to zone out the enemy battlecopters. And here Adder has an absolutely massive advantage, because whenever his power is ready, and it is ready very quickly, his battlecopter can effectively zone out Grimm's battlecopters very easily, because as soon as that sideslip comes in, he gets the first strike. So whenever his normal power is ready, Grimm's battlecopters has to dance 1 range away from the battlecopter's range, and then whenever the superpower is close to ready, you have to move 2 spaces away, which really increases Adder's zoning capabilities, and it just makes it very, very rough to go up against. So what Grimm Guy definitely wants to do in this matchup is he wants to pound Poland early, so that he doesn't get into this stalemate situation where Poland can just edge his forces slowly forward. By the way, fun fact about Poland as a player, he is Polish, by the way. I asked him. He actually wanted his username to be Poland, but apparently it was taken, so he named it Powanlan instead. But I'm just going to call him Poland because that's what he wants to be named. So, misconnections, tricky map. HQs are sort of exposed. You can win via HQ cap if you're not careful. I have seen some matches end due to one player focusing way too much on the comm tower, and then just like the other player does an all-out assault on the HQ and just wins that way. So you want to be very careful. Also have this little empty missile silo here where you can actually stage some attacks on the HQ. So you want to be very careful about that. And just overall, there's so many forests here, and these forests really limit the mobility of tanks. It's incredibly hard to reinforce on this map, so you really need a solid game plan. You need to think several turns ahead. You need to know how many turns it'll take for your forces to reinforce. Otherwise, you might just end up getting pummeled. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this battle started. So, we have, in the top corner here, we have a Poland fighting as Black Hole. I think he picked another color, but I wanted to differentiate the two a little bit because, as you know, I am colorblind, and when you are colorblind, it's a little bit difficult to differentiate the two. So, right. But Grimm Guy starts out as player 1 in the bottom here. Poland is player 2 in the top. Now, on this map, I have actually seen some people base skip this base. It takes 2 turns just to reach the base, or 3 turns if you want to capture it. And I have seen some people actually base skip on this map, or sorry, property skip, go for this property, and then delay the capping of the base to get an extra income. We'll see if both players decide to do that or not. Poland does not do that. He forgoes the city in order to go for the base. So that's an interesting opener. He definitely wants the unit count, which is good against Grimm, I think. You definitely want to make sure you don't fall behind on unit count. Otherwise, you will get pummeled. But as you can see, Grimm Guy does not do that. He actually skips capturing this base per turn in order to get an early income. And he's also going for the airport really early. Probably wants to get some battlecopters out. Against Adder, though, a battlecopter war is probably not what you want, but it's not like he can't build battlecopters on this map. One of the criticisms that I got when I played against Grimm Guy on this map is that I didn't build battlecopters. I just didn't have time for it, and I got absolutely shellacked as a result. So, I get it. You definitely want battlecopters, even if Adder's battlecopters are quite a lot better than yours. Now, here, he actually goes for the city. This makes sense. He can't afford battlecopters just yet. And again, I think I pointed this out during my previous map too. You want to capture this property so that you get the capture chain like this. You don't want to start with the airport, because then you'll have to go down here, waste a turn, and then go back up here. So, Grimm Guy, he knows his capture chains. He's probably played this map a lot. I do wonder if he plays on his main account as well. I somehow doubt it. But again, we're not going to speculate too much on who Grimm Guy is in this video, because I kind of have a bit of an idea, and as I said, I don't want to expose this guy live on my channel if he actually wants his account to be private. So here, Grimm Guy is sending his first tank out into the center. Poland has a tank of his own. And we're going to see which of the players are able to grab these central bases. These bases are pretty hard to capture when there's a lot of brawling going on in the center. Poland wants to grab this base early on so that he gets it. Grimm Guy's going to capture this base soon, but Poland might be able to interrupt that if he's aggressive enough. We'll see. We will see. So Poland sends his tank out into the center as well. Goes for the city, which will eventually lead him to the comm tower. He's also positioning his infantry in range to interrupt Grimm Guy's capping of the comm tower, actually. So I'm wondering if Poland's going to try to be cheeky. Mech out of Poland here. That is interesting. So he actually opens up a mech on misconnections, and mechs are actually not terrible on this map because there's, again, a lot of mountains for them to take cover in. And I think the idea from Poland here is to march this mech down and apply pressure on this area, put the mech in this mountain where it's very strong, and maybe try to zone out Grimm Guy's tank, because keep in mind, if Adder gets to strike a Grimm tank with his mech, then that tank is dead. So it's going to be interesting to see, actually. Now, Grimm Guy goes for the airport, captures the property in the center, and interesting movement from the infantry there, where have to ask why he's not moving forward here. Why he's moving is probably because he plans to go for this city, I imagine. Yeah, probably. And moves his tank. He's just out of range of Poland's tank, of course, as you might expect. Builds another tank. You're going to see a lot of tanks out of Grimm Guy. Probably a lot of tanks out of Poland as well. Now, Poland and Grimm Guy are both capturing their airports. Their captures are pretty similar for the most part, except that Poland is definitely going to get this comm tower. I'm actually not so sure if Grimm Guy will get his... actually, he will. Never mind. Poland didn't move his infantry forward, so... Okay, alright. Looks like both players are going to get their comm towers. So here, Poland is actually putting his tank in range of Grimm Guy's tank, but he has another tank, which he will be able to follow it up with. Day 7 rolls in. Grimm Guy goes for the comm tower, finishes capping his airport. Goes for an interrupt here. Nice shot. Even attacks the infantry on the city. This is the stuff Grimm Guy can get away with because he's Grimm. Like, his firepower is insanely good. I have to ask, though, one thing that I find a little bit odd is, why didn't he attack with the tank first? Is it because he wants to conserve chip damage on his... This seems a little weird to me, if I'm going to be completely honest. Like, wouldn't it be better to attack with the tank first and then move in with the infantry? Would have saved you 3 HP on the infantry. Don't know if this is a calculated move or just a straight-out blunder by Grimm Guy. But he moves his other tank in range of his others, so that if Poland strikes his tank, then he has backup. And there's the third tank coming out of Grimm Guy. Poland's turn. He moves in. Strikes back on the infantry, continues capping the city. This infantry is most likely getting killed by this. I see. So this is why he moved his infantry into the mountain. It allows him the opportunity to cap this property, but it also allows him to strike in and attack here as well. Poland now goes for his comm tower, starts capturing the city, moves his mech ever closer. This mech is actually going to be a problem soon. It means that Grimm Guy is not going to be able to use tanks to ward away these infantry here. But Poland decides to go for the hit. 4-7. I think it might have been 4-8, depending on luck rolls. He also doesn't have his comm tower yet. Grimm Guy will have his, but he's setting up a tank chain now as well. So now both players just chaining tanks into each other. This can go on for quite a while. But of course, the problem is Adder will get his power before Grimm Guy gets his. And that means that he might be able to get an extra strike in with a tank if Grimm Guy is not careful. Here, Grimm Guy, as I said, he goes for the kill here. Denies the property, moves his own tank backs, and gets another strike here. So here, this is pretty smart, because not only is he setting up his tank for repairs, but he can also move his other tank in so that it guards this tank. So if Poland decides to strike him on this property, then Grimm Guy gets a nice little property boosted, or well, not boosted, he's not Kindle, but he gets to attack from a property, which is nice. Grimm Guy is now focusing his, putting a lot of pressure on this comm tower area right here. The problem is, though, he doesn't have his comm tower. Poland has his. Now, you could argue that Grimm doesn't need the comm tower as much, because he already has that 30% passive boost, but of course, you always want more firepower. You hit some pretty nice benchmarks as Grimm once you get a comm tower. It allows you to do some pretty serious damage. Day 8 rolls in for Poland. Let's see what it decides to do. Captures property. Both players are pretty similar on the capture. The only difference being that comm tower, of course. Poland attacks with this infantry here. So, here's the thing, though. He will lose this battle eventually unless he brings in some stronger units. Goes for the interrupts. And in comes the tank. Ooh, okay, interesting. Poland is not afraid to brawl with Grimm Guy here. He's going for it. 2 more tanks out of Poland. Okay. Now the mech is coming in. I would start to be worried now if I was Grimm Guy. There's no way he's going to get a shot off on that mech without any movement boosts. Day 9 rolls in for Grimm Guy. He now has a battlecopter out, ladies and gentlemen. And the battlecopter is moving into the center where it will be very strong. Grimm Guy pulls back his tanks, continues the tank chain, kills the tank completely, and now he walls off the tank. This is beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. Actually, no, he will not wall off the tank. I thought he would. Well, he could. Oh, is he going to move with this infantry? No? Okay, interesting. I thought maybe Grimm Guy's plan here was to wall off his tanks so that Poland couldn't strike it, but he decided to go for some kills instead, which I guess is a better move. But yeah, the infantry battle up in the top left corner here continues to go on. Grimm Guy moves another tank into the center, builds more infantry and more tanks. Tanks out of both players. But Grimm Guy does have this solitary lone battlecopter, and it's going to be pretty good for him, so. But so far, Grimm Guy is really taking it to Poland. Poland gets another interrupt off, moves in with his tank. Interesting. Oh, aren't you just going to get shellacked there, Poland? I mean, he will have his power ready next turn. And keep in mind, okay, so here's the problem, right? This is what I'm talking about with Adder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you might think that the side slip grants him an extra point of movement, but it doesn't. Not in this case because of this forest tile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Adder would need a superpower to reinforce this particular tank right here. So I do think that sadly Poland is going to run headfirst into the Grimm Guy meat grinder here. Day 10 rolls in. Let's see what Grimm Guy decides to do. He starts capturing his comm tower. He won't get that until another 2 turns, though, because his infantry is damaged. And in... Oh! Interesting! Grimm Guy sacks a 5 HP tank to reduce Poland's tank to 7 HP. And here comes the Knuckle Duster, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Oof! Oof! Oh my goodness, that hurts. Oh my goodness, Grimm Guy. That is pretty savage. Poland just got his face grinded, man. And now Grimm Guy's in a very good position. But in comes the side slip. This is what makes Adder so scary. Here we go, the tanks are coming in, gets a good shot. Battlecopter comes in as well. Thanks to the movement boost, Poland is able to get that property, which is very nice. But he is definitely in a very tricky situation. Now, Grimm Guy actually building an anti-air. He has no choice. He needs to counter that battlecopter. You can see just how difficult it is to reinforce. It's really tricky. But Poland is not going to let up. He has a very strong attack here. He has this mech, which will ward away the anti-air if Grimm Guy decides to use the anti-air. But never mind. Yeah, you can see it's not in range because of this forest tile right here. Alright, Grimm Guy rolls in. As you can see, both players are pretty similar at the moment. Grimm Guy is slightly ahead in unit count, a little bit ahead in value, but he does have an income disadvantage at the moment. And if he doesn't interrupt this cap, Poland is actually going to be in a pretty strong position right here. So, Grimm Guy finishes another cap, bringing his income to 16,000. He's also going to get this one, I think. So they're actually going to be tied. Battlecopter comes in, and you can just see how scary this battlecopter is right now. It can go any which way. Poland, luckily, though, has a battlecopter of his own. And now Grimm Guy is focusing, is moving in a lot of units here. Grimm Guy has to build an anti-air, but that anti-air is so worthless against this battlecopter, I'm telling you. He moves his own anti-air back, and yeah, he has to pull back here. There's really nothing he can do against this onslaught of mechs and infantry that are coming in. This is, if Poland were to follow this up with an artillery, I know it's scary to build artillery against Grimm Guy, but if you get a single artillery down here, you can base lock this base and completely make it worthless. But Grimm Guy continues to pull his forces back. One thing I've noticed with Grimm Guy is his playstyle. He's very good at pulling units back. He goes for the hits, he takes some damage, but he always seems to retain his units somehow, which is kind of impressive considering Grimm's whole weakness is that his units die very quickly. But Poland's turn rolls in, and he gets another side slip. Let's see what he's able to do with it. Oh, he's really going for it now. And this is what's so scary. Once you start to get attacked here, this is really tricky because you can't really fire back. If you do, you base lock yourself. And this mech will soon be in a very good position to be an incredibly big bother to any tanks that are coming out of there. So, yeah, Poland is dominating on the right flank here. Even gets a little interrupt here thanks to his powers. That's pretty cute. Anti-air even comes in to ward away these infantries. That's pretty good. Luckily, Grimm guy has a tank in the vicinity. Okay, so Poland is striking back pretty hard. Builds another battlecopter. Doesn't really want to move into this, though. This is a terrifying force from Grimm guy right here. So he's content with just using that power to get a bit of a positional advantage for now. But Grimm guy moving in with his tank. And he has to defend himself from this onslaught right now. Does a little bit of a joint cap here to get this property. That's pretty cute. I like that. That is very, very cute. Sends in his tank to destroy the infantry. But this is a bothersome force from Poland right here. He can continuously strike this infantry to damage any units coming out of Grimm guy's base, which is very, very annoying. Now, Grimm guy builds another battlecopter. He has a tank to ward away the Empire, so Poland needs to build a tank of his own here if he wants to be able to get that. Repairs the 1 HP tank, pretty smart. Places it kind of brazenly in range of Poland's forces, but the thing is, Poland doesn't want to move in here to kill this 1 HP tank. He'll lose another tank if he does, so it's a pretty smart. Like, due to this unit being on such low health, Grimm guy can afford to repair it on the front lines, because it's not that big of a deal if he ends up losing it. But Poland now has to move his anti-air into the center. The battlecopters are getting very scary at this point, but both players are still pretty equal. Poland has a slight income advantage still, due to being able to take this property away from Grimm guy. Yeah, no, they're fairly evenly matched at the moment. Oh my goodness, what is Poland doing? Oh, I see. Okay, so what he wants to do now is he wants to drag Grimm guy into... He wants Grimm guy to move his tanks over here to strike this, because, again, like, his side slip is always around the corner. If Grimm guy destroys one of his tanks, it goes up to 17,000. And then he's only got, like, a tank engagement to do, maybe a battlecopter engagement. And then he can get a side slip into the center and really shellac Grimm guy. So I think what Poland is going for... Oh, he's just bracingly moving his battlecopter into range as well. He wants to drag Grimm guy into a brawl right now, but how smart is that? I mean, we all know Grimm guy is very adept at brawling. But yeah, Grimm guy, he says, okay, all right, I'm okay with that. I'll accept your brawl. Oof. Okay, so now Poland does have his side slip, but he lost 2 units. And now Grimm guy is even fighting back on this right-hand flank right here. So, ooh, how is this gonna go? I feel like this was too brazen by Poland. Way too brazen. Now Grimm guy is even capturing this property right here, which is, he's gonna get it too, unless Poland wants to use his anti-air to interrupt it, so. But day 13 rolls in. Poland goes for a little kill here with the anti-air. Doesn't use his side slip. I guess he wants to say, I mean, doesn't really need it, I guess. Okay, never mind. Here it comes. He just wanted to generate a little bit of power first, which is smart, I guess. Tank goes in to interrupt the cap. Gets a good first strike. 9-2. That is beautiful. But it's not as much damage as we maybe need. Although, does Grimm guy really want to do a prolonged... Does he really, really want to continue this? Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Now this mech is going to come in as well. And this mech will now get to shoot from the mountains next turn. And that is pretty devastating considering Grimm guy's lowered defenses. But this is going to be a crucial turn, ladies and gentlemen. Knuckle Duster is ready. There's a brawl in the center. What will Grimm guy do? Will he brawl or will he withdraw? He brawls. Boom. Knuckle Duster, baby. Let's go. One-shots the... Oh, almost one-shots the Empire. Oh, this hurts. This hurts to watch. Takes out the tank. Attacks the infantry. Moves his infantry back. Battlecopter now coming in. This is such a good position for the battlecopter. Oh, he base locks himself to attack with the anti-air. Wow. I guess he just doesn't care. I think he... Oh, builds an artillery? My goodness. Day 14 rolls in for Poland. Why not attack from the mountains, though? I guess he doesn't want to be attacked by this tank right here. I guess that makes sense. Battlecopter comes... Okay, interesting. Why would he do that? Okay. He really needed that side slip. Okay, he really needed that side slip. There we go. Tank comes in. Kills the anti-air. Battlecopter comes in as well. Oh, this is such a brawl. Who will come out on top? Now he's starting to clear out infantry as well. Battlecopter comes in. Ooh. I don't know, man. This is looking pretty grim. No pun intended. Day 15 rolls in. How's Grimm Guy gonna follow this one up? He almost has his knuckle dustering and gets a Battlecopter strike. Another Battlecopter moves in as well. He's cleaning house on the left flank. Now he's moving his anti-air away. And yeah, now this brawl is looking like Grimm Guy's gonna brawl his way to victory here, guys. He even shoots with a tank. That's cute. Just to get that little bit of extra damage, and he is now cleaning house in the center. Looks like Poland's fronts are collapsing here. He's attack on the right side, not doing much since he doesn't have an artillery to follow it up with. If he had a single artillery down here, this would have been so devastating. But, yeah, this is looking grim. I do not think Poland is going to be able to come back from this. But he's not giving up. He's continuing to brawl. But it's just too much. Like, Grimm's firepower is just too high. And he has another Knuckle Duster coming. And I have a feeling the next Knuckle Duster is going to be the deal that seals the wheel. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if that's what people say. But he's still in it. Day 16 rolls in. They are actually tied once again in terms of value. At least they're pretty similar on value. But Grimm Guy has that 5 unit count unit lead, which is a pretty big deal. And his positioning is also far superior here. Is he going to pop his Knuckle Duster? Or is he going to save it? I think he's probably going to save it. Yeah, he's taking his time. He's not overextending. Grimm Guy shows a remarkable level of restraint in his matches. I know so many other players who, when ahead like this, would have just continued to rush headlong into the enemy's base. Just like, oh my god, I have so much momentum. I need to carry on. Grimm Guy, he brawls when he brawls, but then, once the brawl is over, he withdraws, takes a while to rebuild his forces, repairs his units up. Again, he's showing a remarkable level of patience that I think most other players would not have in this situation. They would have been like, oh, well, I'm ahead, I gotta push forward while I'm ahead. And then it would have overextended and they would have lost. As you can see right here, it's very grim for Poland. Don't really think he's gonna be able to fight his way back from this. Against any other Grimm ult, I would have kept playing. But this is Grimm Guy. He doesn't operate on the same level. But Poland is, you know, he's rebuilding his forces. Day 17 rolls in. Again, I mean, they are... Grimm Guy is a little bit ahead in terms of value, and he's behind on income, but he has that huge unit lead, which is so important. Oh, interesting. Sacks a tank. Here comes the Knuckle Duster, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Captures the property. And here comes the pain train. Mountains, I don't care. His firepower is so high, he doesn't care. Yeah, he's definitely winning on this side. Battlecopter. Oh, one shot Grimm Battlecopters. They hurt so much, man. And now the HQ is in danger. So, and the artillery is coming in as well. Gotta hand it to Grimm Guy, man. Artillery with 2 Battlecopters around here. I mean, that is hockey level of arrogance. Let's just put it that way. Day 17 rolls in. Poland's still in it. He really doesn't want to give up this. And he is fighting in his own reinforcement zone. Oh my god, just puts himself in the range of a Grimm artillery. I gotta hand it to Poland. He's fighting like hell. And he's not giving up, not yet. I mean, I guess he just really doesn't want to lose to Grimm, but... You know, like, I'll hand it to him. I mean, they are once again very similar on total unit value. So maybe Poland is not as far behind as I thought. I mean, now he has 3 Battlecopters, but Grimm Guy, though, with the 2 anti-air in the vicinity, it's going to be pretty scary. Now he's even, and this is so scary, when you're playing on missed connections. You think you're doing well, and then suddenly you neglect the comm tower, and now it is under threat, and Poland has to send units down to defend it. And he really doesn't want to send units down while he's fighting in the center here, because he needs every single unit to hold back this onslaught of Grimm's forces. Antair takes out the battlecopter. Oh, second battlecopter goes down. That is so painful. That is absolutely incredibly painful. And Grimm guy showing a lot of restraint, not attacking when it's not necessary, keeping that 1 HP infantry, the other 1 HP infantry as a wall as well. And now he has artillery protecting his forces, which means that any units that Poland sends down here will be struck by the artillery. And how the hell? Look at how many low HP units Grimm guy has kept alive in this match. 1, 2, 3, 4 1 HP units. And he's using them creatively as walls. This is what I mean when I say it's such a good thing that he's pulling his forces back and keeping them alive. This is why unit count is such a valuable resource, because a 1 HP unit still blocks as well as a 10 HP unit. I mean, sure, it's easier to kill, but it still prevents a solitary unit from breaking through and hitting your artillery in the back. But Poland, he's behind, but he pops his side slip. Boom. Goes down. One-shots the infantry, but it's not enough. He doesn't have the unit count to fight this. That's the problem. He even gets a shot on the artillery. That's kind of cute. But he decides to resign, because what can he really do in this situation? So, what a match. Grimm guy conquers Poland. He did what Inkugark could not. And he managed to actually take down a very strong player in Poland. So when I look at this match, I don't feel so bad for losing as Adder against Grimm guy anymore. If Poland can't pull it off, and Poland is a way better player than me, then I very much doubt that I had any chance at all going into this. So Grimm guy continues to brawl his way up the ladder. He's fighting against some really strong players right now. I'm following all of his matches. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on them and see if he's able to take down some of the really big ones. But now he's starting to really come to a part on the ladder where I think that even Grimm guy, as good as he is, he's going to start to struggle. But never count him out. We'll see how far Grimm guy can rise, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys enjoyed this Grimm classic. My name is Mangs, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.